We just tied the second highest median sales price for Reno Sparks, and inventory hit a new high for a long time. So what happened for the month of June of 2025? I'm Garrett Stewart with Keller Williams. Let's take a look. All right, so as I mentioned, we hit our second highest median sales price for the Reno Sparks single family home ever. This tied with second place, so $610,000. You can see that last summer we hit this price point as well. Our highest price point ever was $615,000 back in 2022, so literally only $5,000 short. Now, some people may wonder what that means. My theory on that is that we probably have more buyers opting for seller credits versus negotiating the price down. So while the price may be a little bit higher than it would be normally, they're getting some credits to either buy down the interest rate because they can, maybe get into the 5% interest rates or things like that to buy it down. So they're using credits from the seller, or they're just paying off closing costs to keep a little bit more cash in their pocket. So we're seeing more of that right now. So that's probably the case of why we're seeing that number jump and why we saw such a big jump. Now, most of this is from Reno and less of Sparks. We'll get to that here shortly, but very interesting we hit that high point. Now, how fast are homes selling for the area? You can see median days to contract. This is how quickly from the day you hit the market to the day you accept an offer, 22 days. So it jumped quite a bit, 9 days longer than the previous month. So you can see it's been, now last year we can see that it was 16 days and it was edged up from 11 to 16. So it edged up last year as well, but just a little bit bigger of a jump this year versus last year. Now, how fast are homes selling in your price point? So if you're a seller, this is a really nice graph to see how quickly you can see here. Pretty much all of them are taking longer. The only one that actually dropped was the $300,000 to $400,000 price point there. So it went from 16 days to 14 days. And it's just a low price point. So those are still selling pretty quickly. And inventory hasn't shifted too much on them like they did in the other one. Taking a look at our sold listings, our new listings, and our active inventory, you can see our inventory has been going up. I'll dive into that shortly. You can see that the new listings are the white bar. They actually dropped, so which is interesting. So you can see that our inventory jumped still, but our new listings from the previous month went down. So there's less new listings, yet our inventory still jumped higher. You can also see that our sales went up from 420 sales to 433 sales. So that's good. We like to see that number continue to go upward. We are still kind of low on the sales spectrum, from a few years ago. Now, like I said, I was going to talk about inventory. Here's a graph all about inventory where you can see 1,128 homes on the market. Now, here's something really interesting. That marks the last time we were that high was back in September of 2019 was the last time it was higher than that. So that means for the first time since COVID, we are back at pre-COVID levels for inventory. So there are a lot of more home options out there. If you're a seller, you have a little bit more competition. If you're a buyer, you have a few more options. So definitely making sure you connect with your agent to see how you can capitalize best on that, whichever one you are. How many homes are available in your price point, whether you're a seller, how many competition, or if you're a buyer, how many options you have in the price point you're looking for. And you can see here that the only one that really didn't shift that much was that $300,000 to $400,000 price point. It went from 30 homes to 33 homes on there. So you can see all the rest jumped up pretty decently, more than just a couple, right? So we're seeing a lot more sellers maybe just deciding to jump in and try to get their next one. They've been sitting on the sidelines maybe for a couple of years. They're ready to go. And they're just like, okay, we're sick of waiting for interest rates to drop. We're sick of, whatever's going on. Whatever they held them back, they're finally jumping into the market. So we're seeing a bit more of that now is likely the case. Now we always look at the month supply of inventory to see, is this a buyer? Are we leaning more towards buyer's market, seller's market? The higher the number goes, the more towards a buyer's market we are in. So if we see it go down, it's more towards a seller's market. Now, it's still relatively low and still considered a seller's market at this number, 2.6 month supply. And it's just going to say, I'm going to say it depends on what area, what price point, and what everything you're looking for. But 2.6 months supply of inventory on a Reno and Sparks single family home level. You can see that that is the highest it's been in the last year. So we have gotten a slightly little bit more favorable for buyers, and that's because we have more options, more inventory out there. Now we're halfway through the year now, so I wanted to kind of analyze and see where we are through the year. So how many new listings have we gone on from January through the month of June, and compare that to January through June, the first 6 months of the year for every other year previously. And you can see that we have outpaced the last 2 years. So had a 300 more than last year for listings, and we're still down compared to the last previous 2 years. So we're still down, but we're definitely moving back to a normal market, hopefully. We're not quite there yet, though. Now, this one's even more interesting because this new listings tells us, people putting their home on the market, but how many homes are actually getting sold? That's most important. And so you can see here we are up as well, about 200 homes or so, just a little less than 200 homes more than last year at this point. So these are homes that have closed in 2025 so far. And so compare that to where we were. Most of them previously were closer to that 3,000 point at this point. So we're down 800 or so homes comparatively. So we definitely need some more buyers out there to kind of get back to a normal market. But we're, again, like I said, we're getting there. Now, our forecaster graph, I like to call it the pending sales by month. So this just tells us how many homes went under contract in the month of June to see probably how many closings we're going to have in July. Are we going upward or downward? So I was a little surprised that the previous month, back in May, we went down to 338. Now I had some theories on that, but as I expected, we did see a rebound up to 393 pending sales for that month. So compare that to last year of 371. So we did sell around 22 more homes this year versus last year for the same month. So it is improving slowly but surely. Now, how many in your price point are pending? Same thing here. You can look at that $300,000 to $400,000 price point, and it actually, we saw pending sales go down just slightly because that inventory just isn't going up. It went down, and most of them, the rest of them though, pretty much all went up. That 1.5 million plus stayed the same though. Finally, we're going to jump into our hyper-local markets, starting with Reno. And I kind of hinted that with that big $610,000 second highest median sales price ever was driven by Reno. And that is, look at that, 5% increase month over month for price. So that knocked to $670,000. That as well is the second highest median sales price for just the city of Reno. And you can see inventory in pretty much all of these markets except for one went up. So we'll go into that. You can see, what's going on there. Let's take a look at Sparks here. Sparks, 557,000 median sales price. So it just barely inched up a little bit. Year over year is still down. So, we didn't see that big jump there, but inventory, as you can see, double-digit jump month over month in inventory. Yet month over month for new listings, it was down 7%. So interesting to see that there. Taking a look at Carson City, our capital, 113 homes on the market there, and a median sales price jumped up a little bit to just under basically $600,000. And so again, new listings was down year over year and month over month though. Fernley, this is the one I was kind of hinting about. We saw the active inventory actually drop out in Fernley, so to 93 homes. So not as many options out there. And you can see the median sales price though did edge up over 3% to $415,000. 23 homes sold there last month. Heading down to Minden and Gardnerville, you can see $715,000 median sales price did up a little bit month over month, and inventory did increase, not as much as it did up here in Reno and Sparks, but it did up a little bit. New listings was down as well though too. Finally, heading back to Reno and Sparks, this is specifically for condos and townhomes. If you're looking for maybe something a little bit affordable, you can see, look at that median sales price there. It dropped back below 300,000, a 14% decrease actually. So very interesting to see such a dramatic drop in 1 month. But that inventory did edge up some, but not a lot. And new listings didn't jump up, it actually went down as well. So really interesting to see that. We'll have to keep watching that one to see, you know, was that just kind of a fluke? Are we going to see it rebound for July or not? But you know, if that is an option that you may be looking for, there are some good options for some condos and townhomes out there just to kind of get your foot in the door. So my name is Garrett Stewart, hopefully your preferred real estate agent for Northern Nevada. If you have any questions, feel free to reach me out. My contact information is below, and we just posted our quarterly market update. So if you want a quarterly guide, and it kind of spreads out where the home prices have gone over the last 12 months for all the different areas around Reno and Sparks, send me an email, send me a text message. Like I said, my information's below, and I will make sure to get you a copy of that. It just came out this first week of July. So looking forward to helping you along the way. Watch my other videos over here. Hit that like button below if you haven't yet, and hit that subscribe button. I'll see you next time. Thanks so much.